Now it's like, tell me where the passage is where it says that this is okay to do this in the Bible. I often say this now where we're at in our deep conversations. Like we have a lot of deep conversations over coffee in the morning, sometimes 4 a.m., sometimes 5 a.m. We just try and create the space before the kids wake up or before I'm at work or before she's doing podcasts or whatever the case is. Um, so it brings me to Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And that's the passage where Christ is the model. That's the passage where we're putting others first is the most important. That's the passage where serving and caring is so important. But most importantly, there's an unconditional love. And unconditional love, as we all know, the most basic definition of that is loving under any condition or loving without conditions, right? So no matter what the circumstances, like our vows say, like better or worse, richer or poorer, healthy or sick, right? And it's not until you have to put that to the test where you really realize what sacrificial love means. Um, so for the good of the relationship, again, it's not about it being a one-sided giving. It's about loving your spouse like Christ loves the church. And that's with the sacrificial lens.
That's so good, baby. I love
Yeah,
you. I just
I
think
love you
like the
too.
mutuality of the way that we've walked through our marriage. And one of the things that we really hone into specifically on
Mm,
this chapter was this idea of like falsely idolizing our spouse,
mm,
and the struggle of what that was. And I loved
yes.
how you shared specifically under the difference between sacrificing yourself unbiblically and what that
Mm,
looked like, whether it was people pleasing,
yep.
whether it was trauma induced,
Mm,
whether it was fear based response, because neither of us are good at fighting. We're both flighters. We're both like, bye, we're not going to talk to each other and then it'll just go away. And healthy communication, healthy conflict is something we had to learn pretty early on in our marriage. But for us to unveil the fact of that false idolization can happen very early and also even years later, right? Where I knew I don't want to idolize anyone or anything over Christ. And yet there had been this like seeping in of your husband always serves.